Howdy, howdy, everyone. Welcome to Inside Russia. My name is Konstantin, and I am streaming live from the very heart of Russia, from the south of Russia, Rostov-on-Don. And I am streaming live. I have quite an unusual topic and the idea that I guarantee you have not heard anywhere before. Hail Caesar. Why did I call my live stream Hail Caesar? Well, to explain you, first I would like to take a few steps back into the history and explain who Caesar was. I'm really fascinated with the history of ancient Rome because people who lived 2,000 years ago, they still affect every aspect of our lives. Really fascinating. Gaius Julius Caesar was the Roman statesman and general who lived from 100 BC to the Ides of March of 44 BC. Gaius Julius Caesar was the first person in the history of ancient Rome, who consolidated power, absolute power in his hands. He was the person who put end to Roman Republic and gave birth to Roman Empire. He is probably the blackest person in the Roman history, the most cursed, the most damned person in the Roman history. In a nutshell, what happened? Rome was first kingdom. There were a few kings that ruled, and people got so upset at kings, then they basically stopped the kingdom, and they invented the new social policy, the republic, the new society. They took a lot from ancient Greeks and their democracy, and they created certain rules. They formed Roman Republic. For hundreds of years, Roman Republic increased, thrived, fared successfully, and became the center of the world. Everything that Rome had, all its greatness, is owed to Roman Republic. Well, the Republic ended in 49 BC. Julius Caesar, a very bright, very smart, noble Roman, who had spent 20 previous years fighting Gauls in modern-day France, he decided to become number one in Rome. He broke a very old, very sacred rule, and he brought Roman legions. He was the general head of the legions into Rome. It had been forbidden for generations. So it was an unbreakable rule. No Roman legions on Roman land. He broke that rule. He brought Roman legions back into Rome. He started civil war. In the history, it's known as Caesar's civil war. He won, and he became dictator, official name in the Roman society. Dictator, later dictator for life. He became dictator for life from 45 BC, not 1945, no way. 45 BC, and he consolidated absolute power in his hands. Very few people know that he was never emperor. He was imperator, a completely different name and a completely different meaning. There was an honorary title given by the soldiers, by the legions, to their general. And he, Gaius Julius Caesar was a distinguished warrior, a brilliant strategist, brave man, and he was loved by his soldiers. Therefore, they called him Imperator, never Emperor. There still was the Senate, but Gaius Julius Caesar was the head of the Senate, and he consolidated power again. And on the Ides of March, 44 BC, he was assassinated, led by Brutus, his adopted son, and another fellow, I forgot his name. Now, that is important because Gaius Julius Caesar, heir and nephew, Octavian Augustus, shortly after, became the first emperor of Rome. Therefore, Rome became empire. The fruits of Julius Caesar, his ideas, they did not go unforgotten, right? And they were picked up and was improved, so to speak, and his heir became the first emperor. That was the beginning of the end of ancient Rome. The highest peak of Roman Empire was achieved in 117 AD. So therefore, they were around 117 years of emperors, mostly bad, mostly power hungry, mostly crazy, and there were 7 good emperors. Anyway, that is history, and after 117 AD, Rome went down. And in a couple hundred years, mighty republic, then empire, with the best soldiers in the world, probably up till this day, with the best organization, with the most innovative society rules, okay, disintegrated because of one simple reason, because it turned from the republic into the empire. Because certain individuals that were called emperors were allowed to consolidate absolute power in their hands. They were allowed to make decisions, sole decisions on anything, including death or life of Romans. Okay, and that was it. That was the beginning of end. But anyway, Julius Caesar left a huge legacy in the world. Guess where words, modern language words, king, Kaiser, Tsar come from? Caesar. Okay, in the beginning, that was Caesar. Everything else is derivative from Caesar. And Russia enjoyed quite a few of its own Caesars. Now, Russia was a monarchy led by a Tsar for many, many generations, for hundreds of years. There were Caesars, mostly, well, I'm not going to judge, okay? There were Tsars in Russia. The Caesar is called Tsar. And I'm not going to jump into Russia's history, but I'm going to tell you briefly what happened in the last 100 years in my country. I call this Caesar roller coaster ride that Russia has enjoyed in the past, exactly 100 years. We'll start with 1917 and Bolshevik Revolution. About 16 years after the Bolshevik Revolution was the 1917 was followed by years of turmoil, civil war, and relative freedom. The new Bolshevik state was being formed, and people at that period, they were somewhat free. There was even capitalism, official capitalism introduced in Soviet Russia. Soviet Union for a few years, and people enjoyed making money. Okay, believe it or not, it was called, that short period was called NEP. In 1933, a new Caesar was born, and his name was Joe Stalin. And boy, was he a grand Caesar. We all have heard of Joseph Stalin. We all have heard what achievements he had, how many millions of people he executed, by his orders were executed. And he is remembered as one of history's bloodiest tyrants. He lasted from 34 to 1955. From 1955 to 1965, there was a short period of 10 years that we Russians, we call the thaw. Stalin was gone, and people were given some fresh air. Freedom of speech increased, believe it or not. Censorship decreased. Soviet Union opened up to the West a little bit, and Russian people started feeling like, wow, this is it. We have life coming into our country. There were a huge explosion of artists, creators, different festivals came into Russia, international festivals, movie festivals, youth festivals. The thaw. You tell every single Russian what the thaw is, the chances are they know. 1966 through 1986, quite a few Caesars were reinvented, born, reappeared, so to speak. Leonid Brezhnev, oh, magnificent Caesar. Followed by Andropov, the ex-head of KGB. Short-lived Caesar. Led by Konstantin Chernenko, an old guy who could barely walk and speak. But Caesar after all. After Chernenko died, Mikhail Gorbachev came into power, and in 1986, perestroika, pluralism of opinions, glasnost were introduced. Another period of fresh air. Another period of relative freedom. 1991, the USSR fell apart. 10 years followed, oh boy, no Caesars. No one could call Boris Yeltsin a Caesar. He was not. 10 years of complete freedom followed, and boy, we loved them. We enjoyed every single drop of those times. I think they were the best times in Russia. The role of government was nullified. We could do anything we wanted to. The 90s, really tough economically, really tough. Lots of people struggled. A lot of people went down. They couldn't, turn their lives from the USSR to New Russia. But what magnificent years they were. What followed after, I'm not going to comment on much, but Vladimir Putin came to power. He was elected the president. But believe it or not, his first couple presidencies, he was not the Caesar. He was elected by the Russian people, and Russia continued enjoying quite a few freedoms. And this period of his presidency, 2 terms, ended in 2008. And you know what happened? Vladimir Putin stepped down. Caesars never stepped down. They are only relieved from power either by death or by coup. Vladimir Putin actually stepped down. and he gave power to the new president. I clearly remember the day he was not happy about that. That everything you could see it on his face. But I give it to him. He actually gave up power. Then, even still, Russia legally is cannot be called censorship. Should I say that? Because everything that has been done in the recent years has been done in according to Russian laws. No one has usurpated power against Russian laws. Vladimir Putin have a right to go and to be re-elected again for the fifth time, but that's legal. Because there was 2 years ago, there was a referendum, nationwide referendum, where every single Russian was asked if it's okay. And you know what? Majority of Russians said it was okay. That's how democracy works. It seems like people want Caesar. It seems like people want one person who would lead Russia. Okay? Why? Why is this happening? Okay, why Russia Caesars keep appearing time and time and time again in Russia? Why? For the hundreds of years. Some other countries exist where this whole idea of a Caesar, modern day Caesar, is unthinkable. Okay, yet in Russia, Caesars appear time and time again. There was a poll recently conducted by a very, very respectable polling company called Levada Center. According to the poll, 3/4 of Russians, 75%, thought that Russia needs a strong man to lead it. Russia needs a strong head. A strong hand. I apologize. Hand. Russia needs a strong hand. 25%, well, to be correct, 22% said that power consolidated in the hands of one person is very, very dangerous. My friends, that poll wasn't conducted yesterday. 2 years ago, in February of 2020, that's when Russians said that 75% of Russians said that Russia needs a strong leader. Don't you have parallels to today, to right now? I've said it many times that according to what I am seeing around, about 75% of Russians support the special military operation. Not only that's what I'm seeing, I completely agree with Dmitry Peskov, the press secretary of Vladimir Putin, who said it himself. He said that 75%, 3/4 of population support the special military operation in Ukraine. Yes, I agree. Don't you see the parallels to that poll done by Levada Center back 2 years ago? I do. Russians think that a strong head, strong hand, a strong person is the guarantor of Russia doing well domestically and internationally. Russians think that a strong man, if a strong man is in power, then the country is going to be out of trouble. Russians think that only a strong man with consolidated power can make Russia great again. They think that only a person like that can make Russia strong so it gets up from its knees. It's confirmed by polls. And this is actually, if we go beyond the polls, this is a general belief in Russia. A lot of people think so. Now, the biggest question I was asking myself, how does this thing happen so Caesars are born here, are reinvented time after time? What is actually here in Russia? What is so different from other countries where Caesars are not born? And I thought that this phenomena comes from top, okay, from the government. Somehow it's government's influence over people or government's history, perhaps, tradition, anything, but from the top to bottom. But more and more I thought, I figured that it's on the contrary. The Caesars, the Russians keep reinventing Caesars over and over again because they come from the Russians themselves. They come from the very bottom to the very top. My friends, this has been my message. I would like you to, in the comments, to share your opinions and let me know if you agree with me or you're not. You don't, you disagree. This thought is I have not heard of this anywhere before. It's interesting, and I really would like to know your opinions. Okay, so please let me know in the comments what do you think. Before I turn the comments on, I would like to ask you to use common sense. Do not try to inform me of what is happening in Ukraine. I know my fair share. Please do not criticize Russia's top leadership. This isn't a good platform for that, for me. Don't put me at risk, please. So let's turn on the comments. And you please let me know what you think. There you go. I see Bruce is number one today. The champion of today's stream. Howdy, howdy. And the Reese Gray is the reigning champion of the Super Chats. I think there was one occasion in like months and months when someone bet Reese Gray to the Super Chat, the first one. Anyway, howdy everyone. Great to see that quite a few people in the chat. Bruce is number one, Mommy, Reese Gray, Lorna, Toro 8 Star, Kyle, Mickey Marketek, Rain, Mr. E30, Sylvia, Karen, Yodi Racer, Ferrari Guy, Male Pietje, Liz, Sandy, Andrians, Jeffrey, Ludmila, Lena, Mads, friends, the usual suspects. I'm very, very glad to see you here. Fantastic. Thank you so much. And Reese, thank you for the first super chat. Hello from Canada, Mr. Popular. Seems like Russians are better at seeing the complexities of leaders, seeing a mix of good and bad, whereas we tend to view them in black and white. Just a thought. You know what? That's a deep thought. I'm gonna take a note, actually, and think about it, because it's not as simple. And I gotta give it a thought. Thank you so much, Reese. Thank you. Let's discuss it at the live stream for patrons or for sponsors. That's going to happen tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I'm going to put a poll. I can do both days, but whatever is more convenient to you, you please let me know. Still feeling a little sick, much better though, but hard time speaking at full force, so to speak, you know. I have to be slower and I wheeze. Jeffrey asked, Mr. Constantine, do you trust in polls accuracy? I do when I see that polls kind of go, results of the polls go along with what I'm seeing around me, okay? When it's just the polls and I cannot prove, I take it with a grain of salt. But that particular poll, I did agree, 75%, I think 75% do believe that Russia needs a strong leader. Beats me why, really, because I've been the only reason I can think of is Russians 75% have not been outside of Russia. And I simply don't understand how different life can be outside, well, you know, in general. And that's why they can only compare weak leaders to strong leaders. For example, Boris Yeltsin considered to be a weak leader, and Vladimir Putin considered to be a strong leader. Boris Yeltsin didn't do much. Vladimir Putin has done a lot. So perhaps that's why majority of Russians think that Russia needs a strong leader. Whew. Mika Marketek, thank you so much, my friend. You're from Sweden, right? 50 Swedish crowns. No message, but this message is powerful enough. Bruce, it was a good background. Unfortunate that people would choose it. Again, Bruce beats me. If it was up to me, I would make it mandatory for every Russian reaching age of like 18 or 20 to travel outside of Russia for like 1 year and see how life is outside of Russia. Lena Axelson, has it to do with the size of the federation? I don't think so, because I don't think size matters that much. Because during the gulps of fresh air, during the periods of no Caesars, nothing happened to the federation. And it's not really a federation after all, you know. Babs56, thank you so much for $20. Again, no message, but this is a very strong message. When I see a super chat with message or no message, it's a sign that people like what I say enough to reward me with hard-earned money. Okay, it means that, to me, it means that they receive something valuable. Something valuable, so they're ready to part with something valuable of theirs. So it's like a message to me, every single super chat. It's like, hey, we like what you're doing. And believe me, if they weren't for messages, not necessarily super chats, but for the comments, It's really hard to sit in front of the camera and say things and then not getting feedback, okay? It's depressing, okay? And on the contrary, if I get lots of feedback, lots of comments, and some of them are good, most of them are good, that it's like wings grow above my back. Another casual observer, thank you so much. Constantine, there are places the rational mind has no access to. Agreed. Agreed, very much so. Devon Harris, thank you. What stops the country from having legitimate, helpful leader with actual country and its people in mind? I think Russians want stability. Okay, what stops the country from having a legitimate, helpful leader with actual country and its people in mind? I wish I had the answer to that question. I don't know. The more I think of this whole thing, not even think, the more I witness, the more I get confused, Devon, honestly. I can understand few things and I can explain few things, but some things, just like the previous super chat, some things common sense fails, you know. Russians want stability, but heck, do they get stability? Do we really get stability? A decent life, stable life? No. It's different. You cannot just get stability and having like a strong leader with absolute power at the same time. It's impossible. Stability could be very at this like in this case could be very low quality, so to speak. You know, like we had stability in USSR. Okay. Piggy Maximus, $10. Thank you. Posterity will talk of Washington as the founder of a great empire, when my name shall be lost in the vortex of revolution. Napoleon about George Washington. Napoleon was a Caesar. Yes, Napoleon was 100% Caesar, okay? I didn't really have much time to talk about modern day Caesars in Europe a couple hundred years ago. Kaiser was a Caesar. Napoleon was so many Caesars throughout the European history. Unbelievable. That's why I value America so much, because that was the first country in my eyes. Perhaps I don't know there were some others, but I don't know of them. Okay, America, in my knowledge, is the first one who decided to get rid of the Caesars and implemented the special check and balance system that ensures that there are no Caesars usurpate power. Okay. Thank you so much, Piggy Maximus, for your message. This I disagree with Napoleon in one thing. It's not as the founder of great empire, but as the founder of the great republic. Okay, because Washington founded the republic. John Clark, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Excellent message. In the West, we have debated this topic for decades now. I'll go with the theory that where the Roman Empire conquered became democratic in Roman first period. That did not include Russia. Isn't that ironic? Hang on. Where the Roman Empire conquered became democratic in Roman first period. That did not include Russia. Yes, okay, I got it. Roman legions did not, Roman Empire did not include Russia, yes. It's pretty ironic. Yeah, good message. Thank you, John. Again, this is another message that I'm gonna take a note and think after the stream about. Thank you. Harry Partner, howdy howdy. Bob S. I'm watching time. We have plenty. It's only 36 minutes, right? 30. Yes, 36. So 24 minutes to go, Bob. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Reese Gray. Yes, Bruce is number one today. John Liebold, great to see you, John. Hi, when in Rome, don't always do as the Romans do. John, I swear, you always go against the grain of our streams, even against this one. Todd, howdy, howdy. Filippo, I'm sorry, I still not 100% back with my breathing. Well done, everyone. We have a new sponsor, Donald Lawrence. Welcome. I think welcome back, Donald. Your repeat sponsor, as far as I understand. Do you want to give me a kiss? Nice name. I like it. Another comparison in the Roman context would be Sulla. Oh my gosh! You know your Roman history. My respect to you has gone way up. Yes, yes, Sulla was also a dictator. Sulla was not a nice man, but he did not leave a legacy. Same kind of a legacy that Julius Caesar did. In other words, Sulla was an exception, and Julius Caesar gave away to the rule. That's how I would put it. But yes, another comparison is Sulla, 100%. Hello from South Wales, Russell Owens, howdy howdy. Someone gave a gift, Lorraine Proznosky. Thank you, Lorraine. You gave a gift of sponsorship to about 5 people. And I tell you what, all sponsors, please come either tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I'm going to do a poll. You decide which date you like better. Please come tomorrow for sponsors only live stream. It's much less crowded. I don't deliver messages, but I just converse with sponsors and answer all questions because usually not too many people. And usually, tell my personal stories. So please use this privilege of sponsorship and come and let's converse. Let's get to know each other closer. There you go. WJ, thank you so much. So we have new sponsors. Joanne D, Sinsit. I Found Waldo, Golden Griffon, and Carol Zupkas. Bob, every time you sit at the computer and look at the clock, you will always remember me. Bob, don't push it, brother. Live streams is good enough. Don't make me think of you all the time when I look at the clock at the computer. Ferrari guy, the founding fathers also realized that pure unmoderated democracy leads to tyranny. Thus, it was moderated as a constitutional republic with explicit respect for minority concerns and separation of power. Separation of power is the system of checks and balances, right? I have such a tremendous respect to the founding fathers of the United States. They were able, in a very short time, to come up with this brilliant system, okay? Fantastic. Brianna B. Emperor Charles V of Spain was a grand emperor. Brianna, I haven't heard of Charles V, But I tell you what, there are some good emperors, and Rome also enjoyed good emperors. The period of Rome from I think 80 AD to 117 AD was considered as the period of seven good emperors. Okay, but the good emperors, they are exception to the rule. They're not the rule. The rule, the bad emperors that had been before and that followed the good emperors. And I mean, I wish there were great people with great morals and ethics, with absolute power. But you know what? Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. I'm not the one who said it. The great Winston Churchill did, and I absolutely agree with that. I think a year ago, or perhaps even a couple years ago, I told a story of how I had power, not absolute power, but I had quite a bit of power, and I felt temptation, temptation of, I felt, I kind of felt how power starts corrupting a person. Okay, I didn't have power for much a long time. I gave it up because it's such a sweet feeling inside of you when you have power. For example, I had you know 1,500 employees at one point, and as a huge place, and I was the top guy. And I worked for a company that was a very strange company. That's a long story. Anyway, every time I was walking someplace and an employee saw me, an employee would have to stop doing whatever he or she was doing and just, stand like it was an army and I was a general or something. That was the rule that was set by the Moscow office for all companies, and I was just in one. There was a huge holding company. I didn't like it, but it's a sweet feeling, when you walk into the hall of 15, full of 1,500 people, and then they're waiting for you, and as soon as you set your foot in, they all stand up and then they wait for you, and you go, "Oh, please sit down. Don't worry, just don't wait for me." That's I'm telling you, this is the beginning of the corruption. And if a person decides to, go this way to be an administrator or a politician and have power, and would her power would increase more and more, that's a huge possibility for temptation. I know it from the first hands. Thank goodness. The power is a trap, really, because it ends. It's never it's never eternal. Even if no one takes it away from you, usually they do, because there are so many people that aiming to take your power away from you. The competition is great. Even if you stick it, you have it until the end, you die. Okay, so it's a trap. Matt, thank you so much for $20. I always support good content and I appreciate your messages. Thank you so much, Matt. Thank you for your message. Thanks for supporting me. There is another gift from Reese Gray to 5 people. Thank you so much, Reese. Very generous of you. King Nero. Abraham Lincoln once said, "A man who overcomes adversity does not reveal his character. It's when you give a man power do you see his real character." Not exact quote, but close enough for government work. King Nero, this is what I just said like a couple minutes ago. Thank you so much. Thanks for the super chat. And you know what? Excellent message. I'm going to make a note of this too. You see, my streams, well, our streams really, they don't go one way. I not only give information to you, but I also receive lots of interesting stuff from you. And that really feeds my curiosity and gives me what you call it, energy, I guess, energy to move forward. By the way, I'm back into the normal one stream a day mode, and it's actually easier for me than not having streams every day and then having it like once every 3 or 4 days. That is difficult. But having a stream every day is easier. Believe it or not, that's crazy. Anyway, who are the new sponsors courtesy of Reese Gray? Going, 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 going. I don't see. There you go. Just Terry, Angelic at Life. I'm glad that you found the streams because I saw your comment asking when the streams take place, what time they happen. Okay, so glad to see you, and you got a gift of sponsorship from Reese Gray. Wonderful Ferrari guy and Lori Jardin. Michael Jerome. I love democracy and freedom. Always best with a check mark and a battery. That's good enough. Thank you for super chat and thanks for the message. Mike Marketeg. Another 50 Swedish crowns. Thank you so much. I found Waldo. Ryan Cameron. Hello from Newfoundland. Howdy, howdy. I was just showing my wife today where Newfoundland was. A little above Maine. Michael Derome. You give me hope that 25 could increase to 75. Michael, what can I say? I would love that. I don't know what else I can do. Um, anyway, thank you so much. Thank you. That's very emotional message that you sent. Since it. Thank you so much. For now, it is what it is. I looking forward to follow you and what Russia will be in the future. Scary, scary. I'm feared quite a bit. I don't quit fearing because there are no reasons to quit, to stop fearing. But taking it day by day, really, and seeing where Russia is going to. More streams on that. Joanne D, thank you so much. $7 Canadian. Bruce joins the train and gifts sponsorship to 5 people. Let's see who the lucky people are. Just saw Bob S. and looked at the clock. I'm becoming like a Pavlov's dog. What role did boyars have in Russian society? At different times, different roles. Devon, they were under the Tsar, the ruling class. I mean, they were below the Tsar, but above people, okay? And there was always a notion that the Tsar is good, but boyars are bad. Therefore, life in Russia is bad because boyars messing everything up. It's a membership bonanza. I guess so. I'm trying to see. Oh, there you go. A plus Russian. Olga, finally you can join the sponsorship chats. Kathleen, ST, Sandra, Nicholas, and Gaby. No, Gaby is not. Gaby is a sponsor anyway. Welcome and thank you, Bruce, for the gift of sponsorship. Gosh, I feel like I'm being a little fakey today because I do not speak as usual me because I cannot do that because of the cough. If I start like giving more emotions to the talk, I will be coughing a lot. So feels very strange. Just Terry, keep on teaching us things between the lines. Well, I hope you read. Well, you understood what I meant behind the lines, between the lines today, because I have this hidden. How do I call that? Hidden Easter eggs in every message, and including this message. Okay, I hope you read what I had to say between the lines. Donna, howdy, howdy. Just stopping in. Donna, you're always welcome. We went through such a long and painful road of getting you back to the channel. I won't forget that. Picture is blurry. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Nightbot. Okay. Bruce, thank you for your gifts again. John Shaw, I remember Khrushchev banging shoe on the desk of the United Nations. Was he a Caesar in your mind? No, he was not a Caesar in my mind. He was the person who created the thaw. He eased up the censorship, and so in the USSR he gave people more freedom of speech. He did lots of great things for Russia. I do not consider him as Caesar. He was a common man more than a Caesar. My uncle told me a story that he saw Khrushchev in person, and he was in a regular car with no security or anything like that. He was just driving through Rostov, and my uncle was a little boy, and he was walking. Not a boy. He was like perhaps teenager. He was just walking on the side of the road, and he clearly saw Khrushchev going by. It was unthinkable with Stalin or with Brezhnev because they had closed cars, limousines, and tons of different security people. And Khrushchev was just in a convertible, and he was smiling and going around people. So I do not consider him a Caesar. Blackhead, 5 people are given sponsorship by Blackhead. Thank you so much, my friend. And the people are Tracy Hendrickson, Daniel Miller, Carmen 5, My Charmed Unicorn, and Robert Holland. 15 new sponsors. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Please come back for the sponsor only live stream. And also, right after, there will be another patron only for the ones who are part of a Patreon community that I have. Devon Harris, honestly, I hope people can read between the lines. You'd be surprised how many people don't. And they comment as if I had a completely different message. And it makes me wonder. I go like, what the heck? I think it's so obvious that I say something between the lines and that they don't get it. So, but thankfully, so many people do read between the lines, and that's really good. Yodi Racer, Viva Las Vegas. What was the difference between Caesar and Alexander first? Yodi Racer, I would like to do me a favor. Please stop by the Caesar's Palace and say hi to the Caesar. Caesar's Palace was one of the most amazing places I've been. Those moving statues and the entire posh atmosphere, I want to come back there one day. Anyway, I cannot answer your question. I'm sorry. I'm not very familiar with legacy, even Alexander First history. I'm not that great of a Russian Tsar's history person. Um, Alexander First was the one who killed all decabrists, I think. Well, he was a Caesar for sure. His son, I think, started easing up, giving more freedoms to Russian people and so forth. But Alexander First defeated Napoleon, I think, right? So he was the Caesar. And what's the difference between Caesar and Alexander First? Again, I'm sorry, I don't know. Michael Jerome, thank you so much. What's the message? Incredible. Thank you so much. New sponsor, D Minor. Welcome, my friend. Very lively stream today. 2 minutes to go. Angelic Cat Live. I think and hope if Russians could get more information, those polls would change. Me too. Thank you. Telembus, I agree, and Khrushchev. The whole world was lucky to have him. Well, let's put it this way. Khrushchev was a great gulp of fresh air after Joseph Stalin. New sponsor, Deuce IRA. Thank you for changing the name for me. I hope I'm saying it right. Reda Singh. When we are a hero of our own life, we will not look up on Caesars to save us. Good message. Yes. Agree. Robert, please do. Alfred Butler. As a child, Khrushchev gave me bad dreams. Is it because of the Caribbean crisis? Cuban Missile Crisis. Let me finish the stream. I will tell you why I think Khrushchev was actually a good guy. I found Waldo. Thank you so much. I'm very glad to hear that. Angelic at Life. I have no other choice. I will have to get better soon because this not feeling good is generally not good, and then it limits me in streaming because I can't speak the way I normally speak. Anyway, why Khrushchev was a good guy? As you know, Russians put missiles into Cuba, and the Cuban crisis happened. Now, the United States was led by a great president, JFK, one of the best American presidents, in my opinion. And you know what the best outcome of the Cuban Missile Crisis was? That both countries actually made a deal. Think about this. They got together, they put aside their prejudices or whatever, bad feelings, and they started negotiating. They found a solution to this huge problem. And after that, the relationship between the United States and Soviet Union started warming up. The direct result of the Caribbean crisis was establishing a secure line between the White House and the Kremlin, so any party could pick up a phone and say, hey, let's discuss this. like an emergency situation or something like that. And this line still exists today. Okay, now imagine if parties could speak like that easily right now, today, like discuss things, negotiate, and come up with a solution that would satisfy everyone. It's something that we're lacking right now, and Khrushchev and JFK, they actually shown, they both, well, and their teams, they actually showed us the way how to do things, how to discuss and how to agree on things. And what I was seeing 60, well, 60 years later, complete madness, okay? When no one wants to negotiate, no one wants to discuss, no one wants to make deals, nothing. I think the world right now is a much more dangerous place than back when the Caribbean crisis happened. Why? Why we had to come to this place, to this moment? Parties can speak like that today, but they don't. They don't speak. They haven't spoken in 6 months, okay? Usual message, yes, Bob. Everyone, on this note, I would like everyone to join me in prayer and finish the stream with a prayer. I ask everyone, the believers, non-believers, there are non-believers, they don't exist in my world because I have yet to see one person, a live person without a heart beating. And if a person has a heart beating, it means that she or he has love inside a heart to someone, even a little bit of love, and that is God in my eyes. That's why in my picture of the world, everyone is a believer. But just some people don't know about that. So please join me in prayer and let's do it. Dear God, thank you so much for giving this wonderful day to us. Thank you for putting food on our tables, putting roofs over our heads, and surrounding us with people that we love and who love us. Please help our children, keep them safe and healthy. Please help stop bloodshed in Ukraine. Reach out and touch the hearts of all people who are involved and are capable of making decisions to stop. Reach out and touch their hearts, fill them with love, compassion, mercy, forgiveness. Touch their hearts and make them softer. Open their eyes. Give them wisdom. Give them common sense. So they go ahead and make decision to stop the bloodshed. I'm asking for the presidents of Russia and the United States, Vladimir Putin and Joe Biden, please reach out to them and touch their hearts, fill them with love, mercy, compassion, forgiveness. Make them speak to one another and discuss things. Soften their hearts so they make the decision to stop the bloodshed. Please help everyone who has been affected by this tragedy in Ukraine. Regular people, soldiers, Ukrainian soldiers, Russian soldiers, everyone. Please send your strong angels so they don't let one single drop of blood be shed anymore. Please help everyone who needs help. Give them strength, answer their prayers, and grant their wishes, please. Help every single woman who is pregnant and making a decision whether to keep a baby or not. Reach out to all of them, speak to their hearts so they make the right decision. Please help my country. Send your strongest angels, led by Saint Michael, angels with the sharpest swords, to get rid of the demons that have hijacked my country. Have angels run my country and make it righteous again, make it shine again. Please give us wisdom to raise our children the way that when they grow up adult and become adults, they will make this world a better place, and they will never ever fight with one another. Please give our leaders wisdom, so they can start speaking to one another, understanding one another, hearing one another, and making deals so we all benefit, all people in the world, in Russia, in Ukraine, and other countries benefit, and the bloodshed stops. Thank you so much for bringing us all in this wonderful community and giving us an opportunity to pray. Please help everyone who is praying along or watching us pray. Answer everyone's prayers and make everyone's wish come true. I would like to mention and ask for some people. They are Nine Veka, Rafaela, Anna, Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Igor, Bonnie, Buzz, Anne Mary, Jean-Paul, Paula, Janine, Michael, Marlene, Susan S., Sabrina, Susan, Fiona, Freddie, Ellen, Stephen, Paul, Madeline, Martin, Donald from Wisconsin, who always asks for himself and separately for his country, the United States of America, Allison and Dave Moyers, I Found Waldo, Liz, Deborah, Isabel, Ligot, may her father rest in peace and give her strength, please. Ariana, Liz, Bruce, Kayleen, Michael, Thomas, Tony, Bob, Jessica, Minutes to Midnight, and there are 3 children. I'd like specifically mention they are Maverick, Sebastian, and Britzel Andrews. Please give them good health, help them overcome all the sicknesses, perform your miracles, and send the kids back home to their loving families who need them very much and love them very much. Thank you, dear Jesus. Amen. My friends, thank you for coming for another stream, another message, another conversation. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. You are all awesome. You rock. Please come back tomorrow. Hopefully another good message. Hopefully it'll be valuable to you. I'll see you all tomorrow.